what the vaccine is and why it's so needed?
So vaccines are basically a way of teaching your immune system to create antibodies, and antibodies are your body's immune system. So they're the things that recognize that something is abnormal in the body and they neutralize it and get rid of it. So vaccines are a way of trying to help prevent infection and protect you from disease by producing these antibodies to a particular infection. So they are one of the most effective and known proven ways of trying to protect yourself and your family and your loved ones against infection. So why do we need this particular vaccine? Well, although we have lots and lots of cases in the UK and across the world, the majority of our population here in the UK is still susceptible. So they're not immune to the SARS-CoV-2 virus. We know that the virus spreads really rapidly, really quickly and easily across the population, and a safe and effective vaccine would really protect our loved ones, ourselves, from developing a serious illness or possibly dying from the COVID-19 infection. So that's really why we need it.
Is it vegetarian and is it vegan?
So yes, there are no products of animal or fetal origin at all in the vaccines that we currently have available.
I think a question in people's minds is concern about the speed at which the vaccine developed for this pandemic. And is it safe? So quite a big question.
Yeah, so first of all, the vaccine has been approved by the MHRA, which is Medicines and Health Regulatory Agency. And they have, gone through all the data and they have approved it as being safe and effective. So that's really important to know.
Yeah.
And why has it been developed quickly? Well, there's lots and lots of reasons for this. And, all of them and all the points, which I'll go through briefly, vaccine safety hasn't been compromised at any point. So we've gone through all the normal phases that a vaccine would go through before it would be approved, except these phase trials that we have actually tested the vaccine on tens of thousands of people. These phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials have actually all occurred in parallel to each other. So usually they would occur sequentially. So phase 1 would occur when we've shown that that's safe. Phase 2 would occur with a larger cohort of people. But these have all happened, parallel to each other, which has drastically reduced the amount of time needed. It's been a massive global effect. So scientists from, all across the world have pulled together and have really wanted to create this vaccine. So, we've managed to speed up the process in that way. We've had lots of willing volunteers. So lots of people have signed up to take part in the trials, which is amazing, which has really sped up the process. Data's been analysed quickly and effectively. So, all these things has meant that we've managed to produce a vaccine much, much quicker than we've ever done before, but at no point has safety been compromised.
Does it modify your DNA? Is it true that it could do that?
So there is absolutely no evidence at all that it can modify your DNA.
Will I have a choice in my vaccine?
So currently, no, you won't have a choice. So as I said, I've been vaccinating. It depends on what we have on offer that day at the time of your appointment in the particular centre where you're having your injection. So there isn't a choice offered. It is simply a case of what we have at that time. You won't be offered a choice, but what you will have is the same vaccine for both your first dose and your second booster dose. So those two will be the same.
That is one better than the other. Would you mind a little bit about that?
So they are both really safe and really effective, the ones that are available at the moment, and more will be coming out as well. And they all have been shown, to have good safety and efficacy. So I think it's more about getting vaccinated rather than worrying about which particular vaccine that you have.
Can COVID vaccines make you infertile, so unable to have children. And then I guess the second is safe for pregnant.
There's absolutely no evidence to show that the vaccines can make you infertile. Regarding pregnant women or breastfeeding women, the vaccines are not live vaccines. So this means that they can't actually replicate inside your body, so they can't actually cause an infection in the pregnant woman or in the unborn child. However, we don't really have sufficient evidence to suggest using them routinely in pregnant women.
Vaccines have a chip to track population in them.
So they definitely don't have any kind of chip to track anything. If the government really wanted to track us, I think, you know, they've got plenty of ways of tracking us through mobile phones and our bank cards and lots of other ways. Certainly the vaccines don't have any kind of tracking.
Once you've had the vaccine, and I guess we'll talk about the first dose, can you just start going back and living a normal life? Can you start meeting, say, with your grandchildren if you're elderly, meeting family members?
Yeah, so unfortunately, even after you've had the first dose, second dose, at the moment, the advice is that you would still have to stick to the current government restrictions, which sounds, you know, crazy. Like, if you've been vaccinated, why can't you just act as normal? But at the moment, we know that the vaccine will stop people dying and it will stop people getting really unwell. But we don't know if it will necessarily stop you transmitting the virus asymptomatically. And we also don't know how long the antibodies last, whether we're going to need annual boosters. So it is much safer at the moment to actually follow the government restrictions still, even after you've been vaccinated. And hopefully, as more and more people get vaccinated and we start to develop that herd immunity and we're starting to develop a population that's vaccinated, then we can slowly lift those restrictions